All right, guys, what's going on? It's an absolute beautiful day outside. Fortunately, some of y'all in school, so we can't get on the field. But we, we've got to get better somehow today. And if we can't get on the field, hopefully, with this presentation, I can provide you with some tools that will help you mentally because we are playing a game that's essentially 90% mental, and we know how anything can happen in the game at any time. And no matter how much we physically prepare for it, we also have to be mentally prepared for anything. And with that, it's tough to do, but hopefully we can arm ourselves with some mental performance training that will help us overcome any obstacles that we would face in the game. Okay, so essentially, we're going to go over self control and discipline. We're going to go over red light, green light, yellow light, what that is. There are 10 pillars of mental performance, which typically, I'll start a program and we start at pillar one. But for the sake of time and some things that I'm seeing specifically with this team, I want to touch on pillar number four, which is self control and discipline. At 12, 13, 14, we start to change mentally and physically. And the game itself, the level of play starts to change because, you're getting on bigger fields and kids are getting bigger, stronger, faster, and they're developing and the game starts moving at a faster pace. And kids that were talented, just more talented before, they find themselves outmatched by kids who have been in the weight room and have grown 6 inches over a summer, and it's tough to handle that. Or if you find yourself working in the weight room, working on your skills, and things still aren't going your way, you start questioning, why am I doing this? Why am I putting all this work in if I can't reap the benefits and be successful when it's time to be successful? So I know it's a lot said, but it's a lot of things that we deal with as baseball players growing up. So we're going to talk about self control and discipline. All right. So let's talk about the truth about mental toughness. You hear coaches say that kid's just mentally tough, and then sometimes you'll hear coaches say the kid's not really that mentally tough. He can't handle pressure or she can't handle pressure, and it's a skill. Self control and discipline is absolutely a skill that we can work on. We can develop. We can develop the self awareness to know, when we're in control of ourselves, what we call green light, and when we're getting out of control. Simple things such as a pitcher missing a spot and walking a guy, or a pitcher hitting a spot and the umpire still calling a ball. One little simple thing like that, if we're not in control and we don't have the discipline to handle that, that can put us in the yellow. And then we start spiraling out of there. Or let's say we have a strikeout, maybe on a bad call, or we just strike out because the guy's really good. And, we have to go back out to the field and play defense. So there's so many variables that can set us off in a game. We need to know how to continue to play, how to not get emotionally charged, stuff like that. So we're going to talk about what red light, yellow light, green light is. We're going to develop a 3-step release routine when we recognize that we're in red and yellow. And what the routine is going to do, it's going to be something repeatable that we do all the time that's going to help us release where we are and get back to green. And we're going to, we need to display delayed gratification and put off what we want in the moment for what we want the most. And, we all want to win the game. But if you go on the mound and you have the mindset of, I'm going to do this myself, I don't need my teammates, I'm going to strike everybody out. That's a tough suit. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, one. And two, that's a tough spot to be in because if you already have that expectation of I'm going to do everything myself and it doesn't work out, now where are you going to go? Where are you going to be mentally? And where are you going to be emotionally? Okay. All right. So, how does this help? Why do we use this tool on the field? You can also use it in the classroom. You can use it, in life when you have tough situations. So, how does this help? It helps to calmly evaluate different challenges and scenarios and make the most effective decision. We know that when we're calm and our mind is clear and we're in a present moment focus, that we can make the best decisions. If we're emotionally charged about something that just happened, we make we may make a rash uh, uh, decision that's on a whim that may not be the best for our overall goal. But we may be angry. You know, I think Trevor Bauer got pulled from a game and threw the ball over center field fence. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he did not want to be pulled from the game, and he could throw the ball over center field fence. He was emotionally charged. You know, um, we just have to be able to have self control when things don't go our way in a game. That a lot of times we don't have control over. And we're able to build the self control and discipline muscles. We can strengthen them. And we need to be able to do that to expect to make a better decision that's going to be in line with what our goals are and what's best for our team at the time. Okay, rather than being run by emotion. So, what does green look like? When you're in the green light, you're feeling good, you're playing loose, you're in control of your emotions, you got big body language, you're confident, everything's going well. Your self talk is, I got this. I'm in control. This guy can't hit me if you're a pitcher, or I'm about to hit 450 off of this pitch. You just feel good. You're in the present moment focus playing. Okay. Now something happens, whatever it is, and it doesn't go your way. Something doesn't go your way, and you start to get mad, right? Or you start to think, that was a terrible call. I can't believe that guy called that a strike, right? So you start to get into yellow light. You start to get emotionally involved in the game, right? You start thinking, you give up a couple of hits back to back, and you're thinking, gosh, can, why can't I pitch? What's going on? Or, you have an 0 for 3 day, and you go home that night and you're like, gosh, what's the matter? I'm seeing the ball well. I just can't hit. Can I not hit anymore? Or you make a couple of errors in the field, or you get into a rundown by a crazy, you're not thinking about a situation, and you make a bad base running mistake. Anything can happen. Anything can happen to put you into yellow. And so we have to be able to recognize through self-control that, okay, I'm getting into yellow. Now, how do I get back to green? Okay, so let's put that on the back burner real quick. If we get to red, oh boy, we're in trouble. Okay, this might be one of those things where you throw the ball over center field fence, or you're 13 and you're yelling at an umpire. No. We're not going to do that. Okay, you're in red, you have negative self-talk, you're emotionally out of control. We just can't we can't get there. We just cannot get there. But we're human. A lot of you are 12, 13, 14, 15. It happens, right? It happens. So how do we get from yellow? Once we recognize that we're in yellow, okay, we know we're in yellow, we recognize we're in yellow, how do we get back to green? And how do we get back to green quickly? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to recognize if our body language goes from being big, confident, now we're a little unsure of ourselves, our shoulders start to slump, we start to pout because we made an error. Just you know what your body language looks like from when you're rolling to now I'm not so sure. I'm mad at the umpire. The coach didn't put me in the position I wanted to. Whatever, right? Coach told me to bunt. And I want to hit dingers. It just is what it is, okay? But we have to be able to recognize when that's starting to happen. And then what do we do once we recognize it? Then we have to have some kind of release. And the best kind of release needs to be something physical, okay? Um, you know, the whether it's we take our batting, we step out the box, we call time, we adjust our batting gloves, we take a deep breath, we have some kind of release word. I'm good, okay. Um, some kind of routine where it's something physical, and we take a deep breath, and then we have a verbal trigger. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm good. Something like that. Okay. Evan Longoria, whenever he would recognize that he's getting into yellow, he would step out, he would undo his batting gloves, he would put his bat under his arm, and he would look at the left field foul pole. Evan would do that every single time. And that was his release mechanism. And wherever park they played in, there was always a left field foul pole. So it worked. Some pitchers, they take the glove off, they rub the ball, they walk around the mound a little bit. Whatever the routine is, you have to have one. And then once that happens, once you do something physical, you take a deep breath, you have your verbal trigger, it's over. It's gone. You can't get it back. You have released it, and now you're refocused and you're ready to go. Okay. And what you need to do, what I would suggest to do, is not wait for an opportunity in the game to let this happen. Do some mental imagery where there's situations of in the game where that happened. Okay. So you would close your eyes, you would visualize something bad happening, whatever gets you mad in the game, visualize that, then practice your routine. Okay, if you're a pitcher, you get a bad call on you, practice your routine. And that way you can practice 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and you know what to do in the game before it's an actual game situation. You're like, okay, now let me practice my release routine. No, do your mental imagery and practice it before that happens. Okay. All right. So red light, yellow light, green light. We have to make sure we're in green, we're in present moment focus. We're all going to get to yellow at some point. And we have to be able to recognize and have that release routine to get refocused back to playing in green. Okay, practice this. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I hope this helps. And I'll see you on the field shortly.